What? This? What do you mean, what is that? I mean, it's nothing. Well, yeah, it's a table saw. Well, yeah, I have 3 other ones. Well, no, I have 3 now. I mean, I have 2 other ones. What, I need a 3rd? Well, this one was on sale. But I mean, I saved a bunch of money on this, though. It was like half price. Honestly, I saw it on the Den of Tools. Yeah, I know, I need to stop watching that, but they saved me a ton of money. What do you mean they cost me money? No, they saved me money. The channel's awesome. Yeah, no. I'm gonna sell the other 2. No. Well, the one's too small and the other one's really old. This one's awesome. Like I said, it was on sale. Did I mention that? But, yeah, okay. All right, I'll go do the dishes and vacuum. All right, let me get on that. So it comes with a really nice bolt kit, and it talks about flat washers, but I don't see any flat washers. There's some star washers, there's a couple of lock washers. So I dug one out of my toolbox. Got one anyway. It's nice though, the hardware's all nylon, so it's not going anywhere. You notice me sweating, it's not because I'm out of shape. Well, I need that too, but it's summer in Arizona, so it's about 108 right now. This might be the most important part of the whole video, because you're not going to read the instructions, none of us ever do, but there's actually a video on this from the manufacturer or at Lowe's. I forget where I found that video, but you need to put a 2x4 down to protect that vent from getting broken. You got to flip the table saw over. And this is a phone a friend situation because it's heavy, but don't forget that 2x4. Be really careful with that vent and be very careful with your back because the saw is super heavy. Do this. I gotta keep that vent hitting the 2x4.
Where you at?
So down, just keep coming down. Down. Now I don't know what we're gonna grab on. Yeah, there we go. Oh man. Super appreciate you because I could not have done that.
Not a problem.
Heavy as hell, right?
It is.
That's not even all of it. So I had to put the GoPro in the refrigerator to let it cool down because it's hot here and those things get hot anyway. I installed the right side rail. So the longer rails go on the right, the shorter rails go on the left. These are the fence rails. They come with this handy dandy template. You can tell you're at the right height. There's a little bit of play in here. So I'm doing the other side. It's the same thing. It's a little awkward to do, probably easier with a friend, but star washer and a nut. Once you get the first 2 going, then it's not that bad. You can adjust it. There's a little plate with a couple special screws to tie these 2 together. This is what your fence rides along. The back of the casting is rough, so that star washer and that nut catch on the back. You really don't even need a wrench. Lines up pretty easy. Not a bad setup. Now I gotta do the back. Similar process. Actually comes with these cool Allen keys too. They have thought of everything. Except washers. I don't know what their deal is against flat washers. The instructions tell you where all the bolts go, which is great. It tells you to use these here. The problem is these holes aren't beveled, so it's got to be these screws, the HP7. These are HP15, I think. I'm going to try it. Hope I don't run up short on some screws. Hope this isn't misdrilled, but it does make sense that it's these. So I got a spare one in my hand. This ain't my first rodeo. You want the wings just below the table. You definitely don't want them above. You want it close. So the hardware's pretty well labeled and it's actually listed on the instructions, which is nice. So these go on this spreader rail here, and when in doubt, you just actually follow the directions. Dude, this thing rises so smooth. My Craftsman does not. Look at that. Looks like a carbide tip blade. I don't know how good that blade is. I guess we'll find out. So it took me a little time, but I finally figured this out. So there's this lever here. And yes, the saw is unplugged. There's this lever here that releases the riving knife. So apparently this is a riving knife, not just a stand for the guards. So you bring this lever up and you pull it out, and that allows you to slide this down in, and there we go. And then you lock it back down. So now that's in place, and you could use that just by itself. It wasn't in the quick setup guide for the saw. It was actually in the owner's manual, but the instructions were there. It was a little hard to figure out at first, but I finally got it. So you pull that up and pull this back. It sits in the back of the riving knife, and that's all there is to it. Get that in the back, tilt it forward, and push that down. Okay, so there's your initial guard. So the anti-kickback pawls are actually pretty simple too. I didn't realize this was a button. So you push that button in and you can get it out. Now it's kind of hard to get in there. You gotta rotate this. It's got the springs on it. Push it in, get all the way down, and then you've got to make sure it's back to lock it into place. But there you go. So now you have those three choices. So I don't typically use these. I haven't for years. I even had a hard time installing it. That doesn't mean you shouldn't. I think there's a lot of people who don't use them, and there's different reasons for that, whether it's skill or the type of cut they're doing. But I urge everyone to take all safety precautions that they can, because this can potentially be one of the most dangerous tools in your shop. Apparently the fence storage needs a little adjustment. The switch is kind of packed away in the saw. You got to fish it out and mount it here to the left side. I don't know why this bolt had to be over the switch. You think they could have brought it out here, but they didn't. It's kind of hard to thread in there, but that's okay. I clamped this down and got it threaded, and it's fine. One of the cool things about all the Ridgid saws is all the storage they provide. Portable saw I have, it does the same thing. It's got a mount for the provided push block, and this came with the saw. It came with that wrench for the blade, and you can put blades on there to store them. You have to screw on those handles here, which isn't a big deal, but they're all different. So this one's actually marked for the fence. Nice thing is this base. My Craftsman's a nightmare to move around because the legs are all independent and they fight the wheels. This thing glides like butter. The instructions are great. They're simple, they're to the point, shows you what you need to know. And I really appreciate that all the hardware is laid out and labeled. And then it tells you in each illustration where it goes and where it came from. Like I said earlier, the safety guards aren't in here, but they're in the owner's manual. This is a leftover hardware, so I suspect I know where the star washers go. I'll probably go back and add those. But it didn't say in the instruction. I added the star washers where it said to add the star washers. All right, seriously though, yeah, I do have 2 other table saws. I've had one forever, and it's old and janky. I do like it. I'm having a really hard time getting rid of it, but I would have had to put money into it. And I do watch Adena Tools. The channel is awesome, and yeah, it does save me money because I know what to buy and when the deals are. And that's how I found this saw. So this is a Ridgid saw, and it's the same as the Delta. So it comes out of the same factory, looks the same, the color's different. And the regular price is about $678 or $687, something like that. And I got it for $399. Now some people are getting them for as cheap as $250. They're on clearance, but it's a great deal if you can score it. So I had to get one, and I really do have 2 other table saws, and I really am going to sell them both. The other one is the other Ridgid, the portable one, not the scissor leg one, but it's the other one that's also on sale right now. And it's a good saw, but I'm just not a fan of the small saws. I'm used to that Craftsman, which is more of a contractor size saw. And as much as I would love a large professional saw with a huge table so I can manhandle a 4x8 sheet of plywood or MDF on it, I don't have space for that. This is a good compromise. It was a smoking deal, and I should cover the cost of this by selling the other 2. Well, I'm happy with it so far. I've yet to use it, but that'll come. I'm sure there'll be many projects and upgrades. I know I want to do some things like make some different sleds, and I will expand the table. I'm thinking about incorporating this into a rolling table for the back of the shop. We'll see what the future holds, and it'll all be videos. As soon as I get the garage done, yes, the Longshot garage is coming. It's taken longer than I thought to build, which is, you know what, that's pretty common for construction. So it's coming, and I've got tons of video clips to go through and build videos out of, and you'll see those sooner rather than later. And I've got to get the garage done this year because my permits are going to come to an end. They're up in 2025, which I'm sure I could pay more and get another one extended, but I'd like to just get it done. Anyway, so far so good. I like the saw. It was a great price. I would look into the Ridgid or the Delta saws. I suspect they're coming out with a new model, new version of this, considering they're clearancing these, but time will tell. Anyway, until the next video, remember, if I can do it, you can do it.